Hi there, my name is Heather Robertson Devine. I'm the president and principal consultant at Bookstelser. Today, I'm going to share with you how Bookstelser pairs literacy with core resources. I wanted to start by just sharing with you some of the latest publications by the amazing publishers we work with in Latin America. These are some of the covers, the insides of them. These are some of the publishers we worked with for almost 10 years to improve the Spanish literacy resources available in our dual language classrooms. So just wanted to highlight the beautiful visual of them. Let's get started. And this is the framework that Bookstelser uses to support instruction in the classroom. These are the different products that we offer. We offer read alouds, instructional book clubs themselves, and classroom libraries. Today's presentation and the work that I'm going to present to you today is focused on the read alouds, which are teacher-led and done in a whole group. We define read alouds as instructional time to engage students, and it's led by the teacher. The teacher is the center of this. And the teacher is the center because they model reading to the whole class. And there's so many different activities that they can do in modeling. Their role is also to facilitate discussions, and specifically to facilitate discussions around text features and content so that students can improve their skills and involve in critical thinking while engaging with the community. This is something really important so that students can, as they go through the gradual release, do this on their own and become fluent in it. So specifically today, I want to talk about our resources that are paired with Adelante and Advance, to Benchmark's core resource. Each of these collections, these read aloud collections, have 50 titles, 1 copy of each, and they are paired with the 10 Benchmark grade level units. I will give you some examples of them today. You can see how we pair, so that you can see how we pair them, an example of that. We also, the English resource, the English read aloud resource is paired with the Adelante core resources. It is the same 50 Spanish titles, 1 copy of each. So 5 titles per grade or per grade level unit. Our method for pairing, so how we pair. We use the resource by literacy from the start. This is headed by Dr. Kathy Escamilla, a leading researcher in dual language education, and just as importantly, her entire team out of the Literacy Squared Center, or Literacy Squared, and also known as the Bueno Center. Specifically, we took out of, we take our work from chapter 3 on reading, and for the sake of today's explanation, I'm going to discuss specifically the interactive read aloud description. It follows exactly along with our description and our definition of how we define read alouds during class time. Something that they mention in addition is that it's important to have authentic and culturally relevant text. And they take the idea of those discussions a little bit further to connect not only to the themes and situations, but also students' identity. And furthermore, it's an opportunity to compare text features at various genres. So today's example will show you how that is implemented in an actual practical example. And then specifically on page 45, there's a section on selecting text. This is the core of the work that we do at Bookstelser. I was a bilingual dual language teacher and instructional coach for 17 years. And during that time, one of the things I saw over and over was teachers just constantly overwhelmed by resources and how to manage them and how to make sure they had the right ones. So at Bookstelser, we specifically focus on this because in order to choose the right book for your classroom, you need to know the book, and you need to know the students, and you need to understand the continuum of learning. However, we don't know the students, but we do know the literature. And so our curations are based on the general understandings of who students are and literature that's out there, and also the continuum of learning, making sure that they're appropriate for the grade levels. So when we select a text, those are the things we keep in mind. In addition, we focus on ensuring that we have picture books. That's really important to us. In our upper grades, we do have some chapter books. For the benchmark collections, we do not have any chapter books. They're all picture books. Furthermore, we want to make sure that they have rich and authentic language. This is a very simple task to have when you're working with authentic literature that's written for enjoyment, not for instructional purposes, but also cover instructional purposes. There's the next 2 points are actual quotes from this chapter, and I'm going to read both of them, and then I'm going to summarize them on how we interpret them. So on page 45, selecting a text, Literacy Squared states, particular modifications for text selection during literacy-based ELD include ensuring that they're meaningful and connected to the Spanish language environment. The two environments are incredibly important, and pairing between them is necessary. Connections can also be made through a new text whose theme, genre, or author is the same as the text being read in the Spanish literacy environment. So what this means is there are two language environments in a dual language program. Very simple, we know this, right? But when we're thinking about text collections, you need to consider that. And so at Booksell Sir, that is why we've added English into it, because the consideration of both are very important. So the English books are paired by the unit topic and genre. And the Spanish ones are sometimes paired by unit and genre, but sometimes they are connected and extended to a different genre and related theme. So what does this mean and why do we do this? Well, I'll jump in and I'll give you an example, but I also want to be clear that the purpose in this is so that we do use translated literature. I don't want to say that we don't, but the purpose is to extend and connect is so that we don't have the same literature, and we want to avoid redundancy. And our core programs have a lot of redundancy in them. And so the goal of supplementing the programs is to avoid just that and not make that same thing. We have a Spanish literature framework. And so to just define the types of books that are in our Spanish collections, as I said before, these are books that are written for enjoyment, not for educational objectives. They can meet educational objectives, and they do. So we have 3 types of books. International books are written and published in Spanish-speaking countries by Spanish speakers and international illustrators. We also have bilingual books in our Spanish collections. They're books written in English and Spanish, and they're published in the United States. These represent unique narratives for the United States that are critical for us to have in our dual language programs, for students to see themselves and to see others. We also have transadapted books, which are essentially books that are translated. These books are translated and in our collections because they represent other narratives that are important for students to see themselves or perhaps see others in the literature. And so all of these narratives are important to incorporate into our dual language classroom, and we want to be inclusive about that. So this is the Spanish literature framework that we use in our collections. Okay, so back to the pairing. So now that you understand kind of how our collections are made, we have the 2 environments. Let me start with the English environment. And I'm going to give you an example of 2nd grade, Unit 3. It's titled Government at Work. This topic is paired with, so the books that we've put into this collection are paired to the topic and genre. In working with teaching for biliteracy, we learned that writing booths, it's important to have a storyline or an explanation of how the units work together. Our storyline for this is that the informative books in the collection cover all kinds of topics related to government, and specifically the series My American Story starts to begin to not only explains government function and roles, but it also relates it to students. So let me show you how. These are informational, like I said, so they're paired by theme and genre. They're all about government. My American Story series, it's about making rules, power for the people, and how my vote counts. So it explains those different functions of government and how people support our democracy. And then there is a informative text about Congress, one of the branches of government, and then different people that have contributed to our government and the functions of government in our society. So that is one of the environments, the English environment. The other environment is the Spanish environment. And so in this environment, instead of pairing by just topic and genre, we connect and extend to a different genre. I want to say that for most of the nonfiction topics, we do this in order to avoid redundancy. For the fiction topics in the benchmark, we generally do follow the unit topic and genre because it's very easy not to have redundancy there. There's plenty of fictional titles that relate and can really expand students' ideas, as well as it's important to have then a more representative narratives to help support students' development of identity. So in this case, the topic is a content-related topic, government, las funciones del gobierno. It is the same in English. And here we paired the Spanish theme, connected and extended it. So our topic is ayudantes en nuestra comunidad, helpers in our community. So this collection includes informative and biographical books. So it's not the exact same genres, but some. And it connects their understanding by exploring different people in the community that have made a difference. And the whole goal is to inspire students as agents of change themselves. So, and let's look at the different books. So biographical and informational, the first book is about a woman scientist that worked in NASA. The next two are different books that talk about just simple and oftentimes not recognized helpers in the community and how important those people are in our community and what a difference that they can make. Another book about Cesar Chavez and his work with people in labor. And then a final one is a story of a young boy who wants to be a Nobel Prize winner. So very different topics and very different ways that people can impact a community, but we wanted to show that breadth of ideas so that students could really explore and to, again, connect and extend. We want to profundizar, we want to really deepen students' understanding and thinking to really help them to see themselves and develop that identity. This is an example of just one of the units and how they're paired. We, as I said before, all of our units are paired. Many of them that are the fictional topics stay with the theme and genre, and many that are nonfictions connect and extend. If you have any questions, please let me know. Please set up a time to talk with me. I appreciate your time and your patience with us at Books Del Sur as we continue to innovate and support you. Thanks.